Jeremiah. Chapter 25. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, that is, the 1st year of Nebuchadrezzar the king of Babylon. Which Jeremiah the prophet spoke to all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, From the 13th year of Josiah the son of Amon, the king of Judah, even unto this day, these 23 years, the word of Jehovah came to me, and I spoke to you, rising up early and speaking, but you have not listened. And Jehovah sent to you all his servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but you have not listened or inclined your ear to hear. Saying, Turn now every one from his evil way and from the evil of your deeds, and dwell upon the land which Jehovah has given you and your fathers from eternity to eternity. And do not go after other gods to serve them and worship them, and do not provoke me to anger with the work of your hands, and I will do you no harm. Yet you have not listened to me, declares Jehovah, that you might provoke me to anger with the work of your hands to your own harm. Therefore thus says Jehovah of hosts, because you have not listened to my words. I will send for and take all the families of the north, declares Jehovah, that is, for Nebuchadrezzar the king of Babylon, my servant, and I will bring them against this land and against its inhabitants and against all these surrounding nations and will utterly destroy them and make them an astonishment and a hissing and an eternal reproach. And I will cause the voice of gladness and the voice of joy to perish from them, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones and the light of the lamp. And this whole land will become a desolation and a waste, and these nations will serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Then after the 70 years have been fulfilled, I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation for their iniquity, declares Jehovah, as well as the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make it an eternal desolation. And I will bring upon that land all my words which I have spoken against it, everything written in this book, which Jeremiah prophesied against all the nations. For many nations and great kings will make them serve them, even them, and I will recompense them according to their doing and according to the work of their hands. For thus said Jehovah the God of Israel to me, Take this cup of the wine of wrath from my hand and make all the nations to whom I am sending you drink it. And they will drink and stagger and become mad because of the sword which I am sending among them. And I took the cup from Jehovah's hand and made all the nations to whom Jehovah sent me drink it. Jerusalem and the cities of Judah and her kings, her princes, to make them a desolation, a waste, a hissing and a curse, as it is this day. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and his servants and his princes and all his people. And all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, even Ashkelon and Gaza and Ekron and the remnant of Ashdod. Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon. And all the kings of Tyre and all the kings of Sidon and the kings of the islands across the sea. And Dedan and Tema and Buz and all who cut the corners of their hair. And all the kings of Arabia and all the kings of the mixed tribes who dwell in the wilderness. And all the kings of Zimri and all the kings of Elam and all the kings of Media. And all the kings of the north, near and far, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the earth which are upon the surface of the ground, and the king of Sheshach will drink it after them. And you shall say to them, Thus says Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, Drink and be drunk, and vomit and fall, and rise no longer, because of the sword which I am sending among you. And if they refuse to take the cup from your hand to drink, then you shall say to them, Thus says Jehovah of hosts, You shall surely drink it. For I am now beginning to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and will you indeed go unpunished? You will not go unpunished, for I am calling for a sword against all the inhabitants of the earth, declares Jehovah of hosts. Therefore you shall prophesy against them all these words and say to them, Jehovah will roar from on high, and he will utter his voice from his holy habitation, he will roar mightily against his habitation, he will respond with a shout like those who tread grapes, against all the inhabitants of the earth. The tumult comes to the ends of the earth, for Jehovah has a dispute with the nations. He is entering into judgment with all flesh and will give up the wicked to the sword, declares Jehovah. Thus says Jehovah of hosts, Evil is now going forth from nation to nation, and a great storm wind is being stirred up from the uttermost parts of the earth. And those slain by Jehovah on that day from one end of the earth unto the other end of the earth will not be mourned for or gathered or buried, they will be as dung on the surface of the ground. Howl, O shepherds, and cry out and roll in ashes, O majestic ones of the flock, for your days of slaughter have been fulfilled, and I will disperse you, so that you fall like a precious vessel. And refuge will perish from the shepherds, and an escape from the majestic ones of the flock. The sound of the cry of the shepherds. And the howl of the majestic ones of the flock. For Jehovah is destroying their pasture. And the habitations of peace are destroyed because of the burning anger of Jehovah. Like a young lion he has left his lair, for their land has become a waste, because of the oppressing sword and because of his burning anger. Jeremiah. Chapter 26. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, this word came from Jehovah, saying, Thus says Jehovah, stand in the court of the house of Jehovah and speak to all the cities of Judah, who come to worship in the house of Jehovah, all the words which I command you to speak to them, and do not take away a word. Perhaps they will listen and turn, every one from his evil way, that I may repent of the evil which I intend to do to them because of the evil of their deeds. And you shall say to them, Thus says Jehovah, if you will not listen to me to walk in my law, which I have set before you, to listen to the words of my servants the prophets, whom I send to you, rising up early and sending them, and you have not listened. Then I will make this house like Shiloh, and this city I will make a curse to all the nations of the earth. And the priests and the prophets and all the people heard Jeremiah speaking these words in the house of Jehovah. And when Jeremiah had finished speaking everything that Jehovah had commanded him to speak unto all the people, the priests and the prophets and all the people seized him, saying, You will surely die. Why have you prophesied in the name of Jehovah, saying, This house will be like Shiloh and this city will be a desolation, without inhabitant? And all the people were gathered against Jeremiah in the house of Jehovah. And the princes of Judah heard these things, and they went up from the king's house to the house of Jehovah and took their seat at the entrance of the new gate of the house of Jehovah. And the priests and the prophets spoke to the princes and to all the people, saying, A sentence of death on this man. For he has prophesied against this city, as you have heard with your own ears. Then Jeremiah spoke to all the princes and to all the people, saying, Jehovah sent me to prophesy against this house and against this city all the words which you have heard. Now therefore amend your ways and your deeds and listen to the voice of Jehovah your God, and Jehovah will repent of the evil which he has spoken against you. But as for me, here I am, in your hands, do with me as is good and right in your eyes. Only know for certain that if you put me to death, you will bring innocent blood upon yourselves and upon this city and upon her inhabitants, for truly Jehovah has sent me to you to speak all these words in your ears. Then the princes and all the people said to the priests and to the prophets, This man is not worthy of a sentence of death, for he has spoken to us in the name of Jehovah our God. And some of the elders of the land rose up and spoke to all the assembly of the people, saying, Micah the Morashtite prophesied in the days of Hezekiah the king of Judah and spoke to all the people of Judah, saying, Thus says Jehovah of hosts, Zion will be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem will become a heap of ruins, and the mountain of the house as the high places of a forest. Did Hezekiah the king of Judah and all Judah put him to death? Did he not fear Jehovah and entreat the favor of Jehovah, and did not Jehovah repent of the evil which he had spoken against them? But we are about to bring a great evil on ourselves. And there was another man who prophesied in the name of Jehovah, Uriah the son of Shemaiah from Kiriath-Jearim, and he prophesied against this city and against this land words like all those of Jeremiah. And when King Jehoiakim and all his mighty men and all the princes heard his words, the king sought to put him to death, but when Uriah heard, he was afraid and fled and went to Egypt. And King Jehoiakim sent certain men to Egypt, that is, Elnathan the son of Achbor and men with him to Egypt. And they brought Uriah out of Egypt and brought him to King Jehoiakim, and he struck him with the sword and threw his corpse into the graves of the common people. Nevertheless the hand of Ahikam the son of Shaphan was with Jeremiah, so that he was not given into the hands of the people to put him to death. Jeremiah. Chapter 27. In the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, this word came to Jeremiah from Jehovah, saying, Thus said Jehovah to me, Make for yourself bonds and yoke bars, and put them on your neck. And send them to the king of Edom and to the king of Moab and to the king of the children of Ammon and to the king of Tyre and to the king of Sidon by the hand of the messengers who come to Jerusalem to Zedekiah the king of Judah. And command them to go to their masters, saying, Thus says Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, thus you shall say to your masters. It is I who made the earth, and the people and the animals who are on the face of the earth, by my great power and by my outstretched arm, and I give it to whomever it seems right in my own eyes. And now I have given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar the king of Babylon, my servant, and I have also given him the beasts of the field to serve him. And all the nations will serve him and his son's son until the time of his own land comes, when many nations and great kings will make him serve them. But if any nation or kingdom will not serve this Nebuchadrezzar the king of Babylon and will not put its neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, I will punish that nation with sword and with famine and with pestilence, declares Jehovah, until I have consumed them by his hand. But as for you, do not listen to your prophets and to your diviners and to your dreams and to your soothsayers and to your sorcerers who speak to you, saying, You will not serve the king of Babylon. For they prophesy falsehood to you, with the result that you will be removed far from your land, and I will drive you out, and you will perish. But any nation that will bring its neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him, I will leave in its own land, declares Jehovah, to till it and dwell there. And I spoke to Zedekiah the king of Judah according to all these words, saying, Bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him and his people, and live. Why will you die, you and your people, by sword, by famine, and by pestilence, as Jehovah has spoken concerning the nation which will not serve the king of Babylon? And do not listen to the words of the prophets who speak to you, saying, You will not serve the king of Babylon, for they are prophesying falsehood to you. For I have not sent them, declares Jehovah, but they prophesy falsely in my name, with the result that I will drive you out and you will perish, you and the prophets who prophesy to you. And I spoke to the priests and to all this people, saying, Thus says Jehovah, Do not listen to the words of your prophets who prophesy to you, saying, The vessels of the house of Jehovah will now shortly be brought back from Babylon, for they are prophesying falsehood to you. Do not listen to them, serve the king of Babylon and live. Why should this city become a desolation? But if they are prophets and if the word of Jehovah is with them, let them intercede to Jehovah of hosts that the vessels which are left in the house of Jehovah and in the house of the king of Judah and in Jerusalem may not go to Babylon. For thus says Jehovah of hosts concerning the pillars and concerning the sea and concerning the bases and concerning the rest of the vessels which are left in this city, which Nebuchadrezzar the king of Babylon did not take when he took into exile Jeconiah the son of Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, from Jerusalem to Babylon, and all the nobles of Judah and Jerusalem. For thus says Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, concerning the vessels which are left in the house of Jehovah and in the house of the king of Judah and in Jerusalem. They will be carried to Babylon and remain there until the day I visit them, declares Jehovah, then I will bring them up and restore them to this place.